everyone. Welcome to another deep dive. We love to just dig into some great books and audios, and today we're tackling career reinvention.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah, and we've got some excerpts from Pamela Mitchell's audiobook, The 10 Laws of Career Reinvention. I think it's so interesting how many people daydream about switching careers. Like, oh man, I wish I could be a chef or, I don't know, a musician or whatever it is,
Yeah.
but never actually take the plunge. So
Right.
we're here to break down some of Mitchell's wisdom, see if we can inspire a few folks out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that Mitchell really emphasizes right at the beginning is the importance of vision. Like having a clear vision for what you want.
Yeah.
It's not just about finding a new job.
Yeah.
It's about crafting a life that you actually love.
Totally. It's like that saying, don't just climb the ladder, make sure it's leaning against the right wall.
Yeah.
Mitchell herself is a great example. She actually left a successful entertainment career
Wow.
to start the Reinvention Institute. What do you think was the driving force behind that decision?
I think it was really about aligning her work with her values. Like she wanted to help other people find fulfillment in their careers.
Yeah,
And that's a really powerful motivator.
for sure. It's not just about the job title, right? It's got to resonate with you at a deeper level.
Absolutely.
Mitchell also talks about this idea of listening to your body. I'm curious what you think about that.
Yeah, she encourages us to pay attention to our gut feelings about our work.
Mm.
What energizes us, what leaves us feeling drained.
Mm-hmm.
Those visceral responses can be really insightful when you're thinking about making career decisions.
Yeah, it's like our bodies are trying to tell us something,
Exactly.
Like, hey, this isn't really working for you. One of the stories that really stuck with me was the one about Marianne Moorish. She had this high-powered job in corporate finance, but it sounds like something just wasn't clicking.
Right.
Eventually, she transitioned to the wine and spirits industry, which is clearly something she's passionate about. So what's the takeaway there for you?
I think it shows she was willing to let go of what society might say is like a quote-unquote successful career and
Yeah.
prioritize her own happiness.
Hmm.
It's a good reminder that we all have these unique passions and talents, and sometimes that means going down unconventional paths.
Yeah, you don't have to follow the well-worn path.
Right, exactly.
Mitchell also spends a lot of time talking about those excuses we tend to tell ourselves, those roadblocks that keep us from even exploring new possibilities.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what are some of the common ones people make, and how do we bust through them?
I think some of the most common ones are, I'm too old, I don't have the right skills, it's too risky, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
But Mitchell encourages us to really challenge those beliefs and ask ourselves, are they really true? Or is this just fear disguised as practicality?
Fear masquerading as something else.
Exactly.
Oh no, this is just being sensible. I love how she encourages people to explore unconventional paths, like think outside the box when it comes to your career.
Yeah.
She tells the story about Felina Rakowski Gallagher, who was an
Yeah.
NYC cop, and then became an entrepreneur specializing in maternity wear. What a leap. What do you think Felina's story teaches us?
I think it highlights that sometimes our ideal career might not even exist in our current field.
Right.
Felina's story shows us that we can take our skills and our passions and apply them in really unexpected ways.
You don't have to limit yourself to the traditional trajectory.
Exactly.
Speaking of skills, Mitchell talks about building your toolkit. How can we really assess those transferable skills and present them effectively to potential employers?
I love the way Mitchell talks about your skills as currency.
Oh, interesting.
It's about showcasing what you can do, not just what you've done in the past. So taking stock of your accomplishments and showing how those experiences have prepared you for success in your desired field.
So connecting the dots between your past and your future aspirations. She gives a great example with Julianne Horton, who used her legal background to navigate careers in golf biotech and eventually landed a job in the music industry at Warner Music Group.
Oh, wow.
Talk about rain.
That's incredible.
What a story of career agility, right?
Yeah.
She really repositioned her expertise to fit each new field,
Yeah.
proving that those transferable skills are valuable in any industry.
Absolutely.
Really inspiring. And she doesn't stop there. Mitchell also talks about assembling a reinvention board. What exactly is a reinvention board, and why is it so important?
I love this concept. It's like having your own personal advisory team,
Oh, cool.
a group of people you trust to help you navigate this whole process. Mitchell suggests having 5 key players on your board. The first one is the master connector.
Oh, the networking guru. We all know one of those, right?
Exactly. They're the ones who just seem to know everyone, and they can open doors to new opportunities. You probably already know a few master connectors yourself.
Oh, I bet I do.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to reach out to them.
Yeah.
Explain your goals and ask for advice on who you should be talking to.
So leverage those networks.
Exactly.
And don't be shy about asking.
Yeah.
It's amazing what can happen when you just ask for help. Okay, who else is on this dream team?
Next up, you need the clued-in colleague. This is someone who's worked with you before and can give you honest feedback about your strengths and weaknesses.
Oh, so the one who's going to give it to you straight.
Exactly.
Mhm.
They can also help you see how your skills might translate to a new field.
So valuable. Sometimes we need that reality check, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Even if it's not always what we want to hear.
Yeah, it's like having that trusted mirror reflecting back your true potential.
Absolutely. And then there's a warm and fuzzy.
Okay, I like this one already.
This is the person who offers unconditional support and encouragement. Could be a friend, a family member, a mentor, someone who believes in your vision and is there to lift you up when you hit those inevitable roadblocks.
The cheerleader. We all need one of those.
Exactly. Especially when we're feeling discouraged.
It's crucial.
Well,
Who are the final two members of this reinvention board?
all right. Well, we need the drill sergeant.
Uh-oh.
This is the tough love mentor who pushes you beyond your comfort zone, holds you accountable for your goals, provides that kick in the pants when you need it most.
Okay, so the one who's not going to let you slack off.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And lastly, the native.
The native.
This is someone who is already successful in your target field and can offer insights into the culture, the customs, the unspoken rules of that industry.
Oh, so valuable. Like an insider's guide.
Exactly. They can help you avoid common pitfalls and navigate those tricky situations that only someone who's been there would know about.
Mitchell actually highlights this community leader, Dr. Jeanette Mitchell, who effectively used her reinvention board to make a significant career transition. What stands out to you about her story?
I think it shows how important it is to seek guidance and support from others.
Yeah.
Having people in your corner who believe in your vision can be a total game changer.
So true. And that brings us to Mitchell's next law, which is all about mastering the language and culture of your new career.
Right.
It's more than just learning the jargon, though, right? It's about understanding the nuances, the unspoken rules of this new world you're entering.
Absolutely.
So how do we become bicultural, so to speak?
It's about immersing yourself in the culture, observing how people interact, understanding the values and priorities of that new field.
She uses Julianne Horton again as an example this time, talking about how she adapted to the culture of the music industry coming from a law background.
Right.
What are some key takeaways from that?
Well, Julianne didn't just learn the lingo. She paid attention to everything. The dress code, the communication styles, the overall vibe. She became fluent in the language of the music industry.
Like an immersive language course for your career.
Exactly.
That's incredible. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Defining your vision, building your toolkit, assembling your support system. What's the most important message so far for our listeners?
I think it's this: reinvention is a process, and it's not a solo mission. It's about taking those initial steps, seeking guidance, and surrounding yourself with people who believe in you.
Great takeaway. You don't have to have it all figured out overnight. Start with that vision. Take stock of your skills. Reach out to your network. You might be surprised by the support you already have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And remember, even small steps can lead to big changes.
We'll be back after a quick break to delve even deeper into Mitchell's insights on patience, perseverance, and cultivating that all-important aura of success.
Can't wait.
I'm really fascinated by this idea of a reinvention board. It's like having your own personal board of directors for your career, right?
Yeah, I love that analogy.
Yeah.
And just like a company's board, your reinvention board can offer guidance, support, and be a sounding board for all your crazy ideas. It's about having people in your corner who can help you through all the challenges and celebrate the wins too.
For sure. Mitchell outlines these 5 key roles for your reinvention board, each bringing something unique to the table. So let's break it down, starting with the master connector. How do we even find these networking wizards?
Well, master connectors, they're often those people who just seem to know everyone you know.
Oh, yeah.
They're active in their communities, they're at all the industry events, and they genuinely love connecting with people.
Yeah.
You might be surprised you probably already know a few master connectors.
I bet you're right.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to just reach out to them. Explain your career goals and ask for advice on who they think you should be talking to.
So it's about using your existing network and not being afraid to ask for help.
Exactly.
I mean, it's amazing how many doors can open when you just ask, right? Who's next on our reinvention board all-star team?
All right, next up we've got the clued-in colleague. This is someone who has actually worked with you before in a professional setting, and they can give you that honest feedback on your strengths and weaknesses.
So the one who's not afraid to tell you like it is.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And they can also give you some insights on how those skills you have might translate to a new field.
I think it's so important. Sometimes we need that constructive criticism, right? To see our blind spots.
Totally. Even if it's not always easy to hear.
It's like having a trusted mirror reflecting back at you your true potential.
Exactly.
Sorry.
And then, of course, you need the warm and fuzzy.
Oh, I like this one.
This is your biggest cheerleader. The one who offers unconditional support and encouragement. Could be a friend, family member, mentor, anyone who truly believes in your vision and is there to pick you up when you're feeling down, when you hit those bumps in the road.
Those are inevitable, right?
Yeah,
We all need a cheerleader in our corner, especially during career transitions when that self-doubt can creep in.
absolutely. It's so important to have that emotional support.
For sure. Okay, so we've got the networker, the truth teller, and the cheerleader.
Hmm.
Who are the final two members of this awesome reinvention board?
All right, to balance out all that emotional support, you're going to need the drill sergeant.
Uh-oh.
This is the mentor who's not afraid to give you tough love. The one who pushes you beyond your comfort zone, holds you accountable for reaching those goals.
So like a personal trainer for your career.
Exactly. They're the ones who give you that kick in the pants when you need it.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've got the networker, the truth teller, the cheerleader, and the tough love coach. Who's the last member of this dream team?
Last but not least, we have the native. This is someone who's already crushing it in your target field. And they can offer those super valuable insights into the industry's culture, the customs, all the unwritten rules.
Like an insider's guidebook.
Exactly.
Right.
They can help you avoid those common mistakes and just navigate all those tricky situations that honestly only an insider would know about. Mitchell really stresses choosing natives who are genuinely happy and successful in their careers. Why do you think that is?
Well, I guess if you're getting career advice from someone who's burnt out or unhappy in their own field, that's not exactly inspiring, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's like asking for travel advice from someone who hates to travel. You want to learn from someone who loves what they do.
Exactly. So once you've got your dream team assembled, what are some tips for actually approaching these people and asking for their guidance?
Well, first off, be respectful of their time and their expertise. Come prepared with specific questions that you have and be clear about what you're hoping to get out of the conversation. And of course, you want to be mindful of their schedules.
Right. Don't just spring it on them.
Exactly. And it's always a good idea to offer something in return, even if it's just a small token of appreciation or maybe your willingness to help them out in the future. It's all about building those genuine relationships.
It shouldn't feel transactional.
Yeah, for sure. Mitchell tells this story about Felina Rakowski Gallagher, the former cop turned entrepreneur, remember?
Yeah.
And she really went above and beyond to learn about the maternity wear business.
So what can we learn from her approach?
I think it's about being proactive.
Yeah.
She didn't just send like a generic email or make a casual phone call. She flew all the way to Utah to meet with the owners of a successful maternity wear company. That showed real commitment and a willingness to learn.
That's taking initiative to the next level. It's not just asking for help. It's showing you're serious about it and making it easy for people to want to help you.
Exactly. Right? And that actually brings us to Mitchell's next law, which is all about mastering the language and the culture of your new career.
So it's about becoming bicultural in a sense.
Yeah, like learning the nuances, the unwritten rules, the way things actually work in that industry. It goes beyond just the jargon. It's about really immersing yourself in the culture, observing how people interact, what they value, what their priorities are.
Mitchell uses Julian Horton's story again, this time highlighting how she adapted to the culture of the music industry coming from a law background. How does she make that transition?
Well, she didn't just learn the industry terms. She paid attention to everything. The dress code, the communication style, the way people interacted with each other, all those little unspoken rules. She basically became fluent in the language of the music industry.
So she cracked the code.
Yeah, and that helped her really integrate seamlessly into that world.
It's a good reminder that technical skills are only one piece of the puzzle, right? Adaptability, cultural fluency, a willingness to learn those are just as important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? Mitchell actually cautions against going to two extremes when it comes to mastering the language of a new field.
Oh, what are the...
Well, the first one is perfectionism. Don't get bogged down trying to learn every single term or nuance before you even start networking or applying for jobs. It's more about progress, not perfection.
Right. Don't let that hold you back.
And the second extreme is what she calls cultural elitism.
Yeah.
Don't go into a new industry acting like your old way of doing things is superior. Be open to learning, be humble, be willing to adapt.
Find that balance between confidence and humility. Be eager to learn, but not arrogant.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got the vision, the support system, the language skills. I feel like we're almost ready to launch our reinvention rockets. What's next on Mitchell's list?
Patience reinvention takes time. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Mhm.
And honestly, I think that's where a lot of people get tripped up. They expect overnight transformations, but real change rarely happens that quickly.
Yeah, Mitchell tells this funny story about a woman who wanted to be the new Oprah, but expected to reach that level of success in like 6 weeks.
Oh, wow.
I mean, talk about unrealistic expectations. How do we manage those expectations and stay motivated when the going gets tough?
I think it starts with recognizing that reinvention is a journey, not a destination. You
I
know,
love that.
it's about embracing all of it,
Hmm.
the ups, the downs, the setbacks, the unexpected detours,
Yeah, yeah.
and focusing on what you can control, which is your effort, your attitude, your commitment to the process.
She uses this analogy of a garden, right? You can't force a seed to sprout overnight, but you can create the right conditions for growth, fertile soil, sunlight, water,
Mm,
and then you have to patiently wait for nature to do its thing,
that's a great analogy. It's about trusting the process.
for sure. So while we're waiting for those seeds to sprout, what can we be doing?
Well, Mitchell talks about developing a reinvention tactical plan,
Yeah.
setting realistic goals, breaking them down into smaller steps, and tracking your progress along the way.
So it's like having a roadmap for your career journey.
Exactly. And don't forget to reward yourself for hitting those milestones, no matter how small.
Oh, yeah, celebrate those wins.
Exactly. It could be something as simple as a nice dinner, taking a day off, or maybe investing in a course or a workshop that helps you learn new skills. The point is to acknowledge your progress and celebrate those achievements.
It's like giving yourself a pat on the back,
Yeah.
recognizing all the effort you're putting in.
Right. Mitchell also talks about the importance of accountability.
Huh.
How do you think we can build that into our reinvention journey?
That's a good question.
We'll find a friend, a mentor, or even a group who can support you and hold you accountable for those goals. Share your aspirations with them. Check in regularly and celebrate your successes together. Having that external support can make a world of difference.
It's like having a workout buddy for your career.
Exactly. Someone to cheer you on, push you when you need it, and celebrate those victories along the way.
So we've talked about the steps, the strategies, the support system, but Mitchell says there's one more crucial ingredient for a successful reinvention. What is it?
It's cultivating an aura of success, projecting confidence, believing in your value, and just radiating an energy that attracts opportunities.
I love that phrase, aura of success. It sounds almost magical. But I get it. It's about how we present ourselves and how others perceive us. But how do you actually cultivate that confidence and belief in yourself, especially when you're moving into a new field where you might feel like a total imposter?
It starts with acknowledging your past successes, even if they seem totally unrelated to your new path. It's about recognizing your strengths, celebrating your accomplishments, and just reminding yourself that you are capable of achieving great things.
It's so easy to get caught up in self-doubt, especially when we're stepping outside of our comfort zone. So remembering those wins is key.
Absolutely. And surround yourself with supportive people too. People who lift you up, who believe in your potential, who encourage you to chase those dreams.
It's about being mindful of the energy we let into our lives, right?
For sure. And don't underestimate the power of doing the inner work too. Healing from past setbacks.
What do you mean by that?
Well, sometimes past failures or disappointments can leave these emotional scars that can really impact our confidence and our belief in ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's important to acknowledge those experiences, process the emotions that come up, and learn from those setbacks without letting them define us.
It's like clearing out that emotional baggage so we can move forward with a lighter heart.
Exactly. Mitchell is very honest about the fact that reinvention can be tough.
Yeah.
She outlines these 4 common challenges that people tend to face during the process. What do you think those are?
Lay it on me.
Well, first, you've got losing faith, that feeling of doubt and discouragement that creeps in when things aren't happening as fast as you'd like.
Who's all been there?
Yeah. Then there's feeling stuck, like you're not making any progress or you don't know what the next step is.
That's a tough one.
Then there's radio silence, when you're not getting any response to your networking efforts or job applications. And finally, the pressure of running out of time, which often translates to running out of money or resources.
Okay, so those are some pretty big hurdles, but I think it's reassuring to know that these are common challenges and we're not alone in facing them.
Absolutely.
So what are some practical strategies for overcoming these hurdles?
Well, if you're losing faith, Mitchell suggests going back to your why, reconnect with those core values and motivations that are driving you. Remind yourself of your goals and really visualize the positive impact this change will have on your life.
It's about reigniting that spark.
Exactly. And if you're feeling stuck, it's a good time to revisit your skills assessment and see if there are any gaps you need to fill. It's also a great opportunity to expand your network, reach out to your reinvention board for guidance, and maybe explore some new resources or learning opportunities.
It's about taking a step back and reassessing, right?
Exactly. And if you're dealing with radio silence, those unanswered emails and applications, it's time to really refine your pitch. Tailor your resume and cover letter to highlight those relevant skills and experiences, and make sure you're targeting the right opportunities.
So it's about being strategic and making sure your message is resonating.
For sure. And if you're feeling that pressure of time or finances, it's crucial to have a backup plan. A side hustle, a temporary job, or maybe even tapping into your support network for some assistance.
It's about being resourceful and not being afraid to ask for help.
Absolutely. So you've done the work, you've built the skills, the network, the confidence, the belief. Mitchell says there will come a moment when opportunity knocks. What should we do when that happens?
Oh, that's the exciting part. What does she say?
Say yes. Take the leap. Embrace the unknown and trust that you've prepared for this moment.
It's about trusting the process, believing in yourself, and taking that next step.
Exactly. And that leads us to Mitchell's final takeaway, which is reinvention is a way of life.
Ooh, I like that. It suggests that it's not just a one-time event,
Right. It's an ongoing process.
Like always evolving, learning, adapting to new circumstances.
Exactly.
Mitchell also talks about having two careers. What does she mean by that?
Well, she's not saying you need two jobs.
Oh.
It's more about having two focuses. The first is what you do to earn a living. Your job, your business, your craft.
Makes sense. What's the second career then?
Your commitment to personal and professional development. Always honing your skills, expanding your knowledge, nurturing your passions.
So it's about investing in yourself and staying relevant in a world that's constantly changing.
Exactly.
It's like she's saying, don't just settle into a routine, keep pushing yourself to grow.
Absolutely. And part of that is making a habit of being happy.
So happiness isn't just a result of success, it's an ingredient.
I think so. When you're feeling good, you're more creative, more resilient, more likely to attract those opportunities.
Mitchell talks about things like cultivating routines that bring you joy, celebrating your successes, practicing gratitude.
Yeah.
It's about making happiness a priority, not just something that happens by chance.
Absolutely. And she also cautions against making your reinvention bigger than it needs to be.
So sometimes it's not about a total overhaul, just a few tweaks.
Right. If a small adjustment can get you closer to your ideal lifestyle, go for it.
It's like decluttering your career,
Yeah,
Focus on what matters. Let go of the rest.
exactly. And remember, it's okay to change your mind along the way. What you want now might not be what you want 5 years from now, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, our interests change. Our priorities shift. What once felt fulfilling might not anymore. It's about staying in tune with those changes.
Absolutely.
Mitchell herself left a successful entertainment career to start the Reinvention Institute.
Right.
It was a big change, but it clearly aligned with her passions and her desire to help others.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that reinvention isn't always a straight line. Sometimes it's about trusting your gut and taking a leap of faith.
For sure.
Yeah.
Mitchell ends the book with this really beautiful story about her grandfather, Robert Lee Reed. He was a garbage collector,
Wow.
and he used to find books in the trash and save them for her.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's a story that really highlights the power of even small actions. His simple act of saving those books really nurtured her love of learning and ultimately shaped her career path.
It's a good reminder that inspiration can come from anywhere, and we never know the impact we might have on others. So what's the one key takeaway our listeners should walk away with today?
I think it's this: reinvention is a journey, not a destination. It's about embracing the unknown, trusting the process, and believing in your ability to create a life and career that you truly love.
It's about taking that first step, even if it feels small, and trusting that the path will unfold as you go.
Well, I think we've both learned a lot from this deep dive into the 10 Laws of Career Reinvention. Pamela Mitchell offers so much wisdom and inspiration for anyone at any stage of their career.
Absolutely. It's never too late to reinvent yourself, to explore those possibilities, and to create a life that truly aligns with your values.
So if you're feeling that nudge, that little voice inside saying, hey, there's something more out there, don't ignore it. Start exploring. Start dreaming and start taking those steps towards a more fulfilling future. And if you're feeling inspired, we highly recommend checking out Pamela Mitchell's book. It's packed with even more insights, stories, and practical advice.
It's a great resource. And remember, reinvention is a journey, not a race. Take your time, be patient with yourself, and celebrate every step along the way.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
That's all the time we have for today. But until next time, happy reinventing.